What's up, y'all? My name is Mez, aka Mr. Floyd, aka Hamez, aka the several other million names that people know me as. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Northeast Philadelphia, and I'm a clothing designer, creative director, model, dabble in videography a little bit as well. So, clothing designing is like, I would say definitely the biggest thing I do, and would be the thing that I'm known most for. I have a brand called Flawed Beings on Instagram at flawed.beings. I've been making clothes for 7 years now. It's been a journey. All of my pieces are handmade. That includes hand sewing, using sewing machines, screen printing, a lot of different types of things, cutting and sewing. I like being able to make pieces by hand because I feel like I like curate a better experience for my customers and people who are a fan of what I make. Modeling as well, that's something that I've gotten more into over the course of 2022. I've been into fashion since I was 16, and I've always loved taking fit pics and stuff like that. But 2022 was when I kind of just took it to the next level. I was just like, yo, like, I really be putting the fits together for real. Like, I really want to just like do this more seriously, I guess you would say. And I've been messing around with editing video and taking pictures since 2016 as well. That's when I started my whole fashion/creative journey, I would say. So my earliest memory of making clothes, I remember the first piece of clothing that I made actually, it was the dad hat. It was a black dad hat that I purchased off this one website. I must have been on Instagram or something like that, and I saw that somebody had thrown bleach on a hat, and I was like, oh, that's a dope design, but like, I'm not gonna purchase that. Like, I could probably just make that my own. So I bought the hat, I poured some bleach in a spray bottle, mixed it with some water, sprayed it like how it came out. I wore it to school the next day, and people just gave me a bunch of compliments. They were like, yo, it's hot, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, all right, cool, it's cool, it's a thing. So I tried the same thing with some black Nike hoodies, some old t-shirts, and I had got into bleaching a lot, and it got to a point where in high school, people started to know me as like being the guy who was like making his own clothes and shit like that. So it was just like, okay, this is my thing. So from there, it just turned into this, hand painting, sewing and screen printing. It was a natural evolution. Yeah, I have a couple people like that. Like, I would say the first person, like, I don't know, person or anything like that, but the first like celebrity or something that I saw doing this and made me want to do it the way I'm doing it would be like Warren Lotus. I saw Warren Lotus do it. I was like 17 years old, I think, and he had like some type of interview on Hypebeast, I think it was, and he like literally made a denim jacket like in front of the camera. Like, he painted on the back of the jacket and just like illustrated this image, and I'm like, yo, like, I do the same thing. And he's like famous for it. Like, I'm 16, 17 at the time. I'm like, he's famous, like he's working with Nike and making money off making clothes. Like, this is me, like I can be that. Like, that was definitely the first time I saw somebody doing it like that, and it was like, yeah, like, that's me. My mom has always been very supportive of my journey and just like supporting me, like being creative. Like, I remember I was like buying jeans when I was younger from H&M, coming home and distressing them all crazy. I really wanted to like the Justin Bieber super blowout distressed jeans look at the time. It was like 2016, something like that. My dad like, why are you buying jeans just to mess them up and spending your money? I was like, just let him do his thing. Like, I remember wearing them to school, the teachers pulling me in the hallway like, hey man, you got too much knee out. Like, It was funny, but those are definitely a couple people, friends in my circle. They inspire me a lot. I'm inspired by friends and people I know locally a lot, honestly. They just really, being surrounded by so many creatives and so many talented people really just pushes me to be the best version of myself. I'll say the hardest thing I had to come up against is just like not giving up. Like a lot of people look at me and they see the things that I do and they kind of just think like, yeah, like he's always on it, like he's always got it. And like I do be on it, but it's just like, it's been so many times throughout the years where it's like, bro, like I'm not really getting nowhere. Like even before I came up with Flawed Games, like the name of the brand back in 2019, I was making clothes earlier, and it's like, okay, I'm making this piece, I'm posting it on the gram, I'm trying to market myself, I'm trying to figure it out, I'm trying to figure the journey out, and you know, I get growth here and there. You know, I have my friends supporting me, I have some new people supporting me, coming here and there, but overall, the overall growth isn't where I thought it would be. The growth wasn't like super apparent, and it's discouraging sometimes. It's like, yo, like, I spend my own money to put into this. Like I'm standing over a desk, painting clothes for like 9 hours. Like I remember one time, like I was in college with my roommate. He fell asleep, I'm making a piece. He woke up early in the morning. I'm still sitting over there making a piece, like hand and dazzling and stuff. And for a while, I just felt like I wasn't moving compared to like some other people. And it was very discouraging. It was definitely times where it's just like, maybe I don't have it. Like maybe I'm good at what I do, but it's not good enough, or maybe I just don't have the quality that this person has to be recognized in these spaces or to achieve these certain things. But when I would have those feelings, somebody will always reach out to me and just be like, yo, bro, like never stop what you're doing, because like you really motivate me. Like you doing what you do makes me feel confident in like pursuing my art and putting myself out there. And I always appreciated people who send me messages like that. It's just like, okay, I'm in my head too much, I gotta go harder. Like I just gotta figure this out, because if me just trying to do something inspires this many people to try to be the best versions of their self, then I gotta be doing something right. It's been times where like I was younger and like I didn't have a job at the time, so I was only trying to sell clothes, and this is before I was able to make my stuff look a certain way, market a certain way, so it didn't appeal to as many people as it might today. So it's like, dang, like the money not coming in. Like one of my first pop-up shops, I didn't sell anything. Like I made a bunch of new tote bags. I spent some of my last money on like going to like Michael's, buying the supplies, hand designing stuff, airbrushing and all that. I'm in school at the time. I'm at college. I'm buying Ubers to get to the event off campus. Didn't sell nothing, and I'm just going back home like, yo, like it was a waste pretty much. But it was just like, all right, but like what I'm gonna do? Quit? I felt like it, but no, I can't. Like I'm not doing this for the money. At the end of the day, I'm doing it for the love of fashion and for the love of art and for the love of creating. So I just gotta keep going, and I just kept going. It was hard. But, you know. The hardest thing about what I do now, personally, I can say is time management. Yeah, like I run Flawed Games by myself. I'm the graphic designer, I'm the creative director, I'm everything. And like I collab with local photographers here and there, but a lot of the photos you're seeing and the TikToks you're seeing, I'm putting together. Some of my customers model as well, so it's cool when like they might buy something, they might go do a photo shoot, and I can like repost their pictures. But like 90 to 95% of what you're seeing on Flawed Beings is probably something that I created myself. So time management between designing, trying to run the social media, not even just on Instagram, trying to transfer into posting on TikTok and Twitter as well. And then I'm not doing as many pop-ups as I was, but I did 17 pop-ups last year while being in trade school for 6 months simultaneously. So it's just like, that took a lot of my time, trying to be social and network and go to these events. It's a lot that goes into it. And then with me trying to model now too, I take specific time to go do fit pics, or if I have photo shoots to do, it's a lot of different things that go into it. And it can be extremely stressful, but time management helps a lot. Realizing what needs to come first is something that I'm also working on. Like, some things have to be more prioritized than others. That's probably like the biggest thing right now. It started off just throwing bleach on stuff. So I might just put some bleach into a spray bottle, mix it with some water, and just, spray some spots. I'm like, okay, that looks cool. But I'm a person where it's like, I'm constantly evolving, and like, it's a blessing and a curse where I have like this artist mind of like, I did that too much already. I want to do something else. I want to do the next thing. So like, I'm wearing the bleach tag and like I'm dyeing the sleeves on hoodies. That's cool, but like, that's not really enough. So now I'm like making smiley faces with the bleach and all that. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's cool, but no, that's not enough. I'm on YouTube one day, I see like a tutorial of like this girl that she painted like a song lyrics on the back of like her flannel or something. I'm like, that's cool. So I bought a flannel, bought some white paint. It was the Uzi and Cardi song back in the day, Left Right. I had painted on the words Left Right on the back of the flannel. I wore that. They was like, yo, that's crazy. I'm like, okay, that's cool, new method. But just doing regular words, that got boring after a while. So I'm like, okay, what's next? And I told y'all I came across that Warren Lotus video where he was basically using the white paint to create an entire canvas. And he was filling in the canvas with images and illustrations. I'm like, okay, new method. So I did the same thing. I started creating canvases rather than just painting just letters and words. That was cool for a while, but then it got to a point where it's like, those are more custom pieces and one-of-ones rather than having like a line of like continuous pieces that somebody could just like purchase, like hitting a website and you got 100 of these pieces in stock. So I'm like, okay, painting is cool, but it's time consuming and it sells a little slower. So what's next? I started airbrushing. I got into airbrushing design, airbrushing t-shirts, and sewing at the same time. So I was airbrushing designs on the t-shirts, and then I started airbrushing designs onto canvas material, cutting the canvas out into different shapes, similar to this. And this kind of became a new method where this is screen printed, but it used to be like airbrushed. And then I would cut it out, then I would sew it in. That became a new method. I always wanted to make stuff that was eye-catching and stuff that would pop, and I would just get bored of the previous thing. And eventually I was like, okay, airbrush is cool, but screen print is like better quality airbrushing basically, so let me learn how to screen print. It took me like several months to figure that out because I kept messing up with the chemicals. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I was getting mad, discouraged. I'm like, I can't figure this out. It was goofy, but I figured that out eventually, and that led into me starting to cut and sew a little bit, like with pieces like this tee. This is the bubblegum tee, is what I call it. Just has like a simple logo on the front, some design on the back, but I cropped it myself. A little bit of cut and sew work. I want to get more into that as the year progresses. But that's been the evolution. This was a time. This is a lot of people's favorite time in my career when I was hand painting. Like, all of this is hand painted. It was just me looking at the image of Scott Pilgrim and just like, yo, okay, just sketch it out, just paint over top of it. Right. That's all we gotta do. And it's my baby right there.
What is something that you would tell your younger self before the art, after the art, during the art, anything?
Love yourself. Definitely like love yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. During the art, just keep going. Like, whatever hardships you come up against, just keep going. Like, don't give up. You might trip, but you don't fall. If you fall, get back up. You know, it's not an easy road, but you got it. So just keep going, stay focused. You said after the art too?
Well, no, I guess you didn't get after the
I'm
art
about to
yet,
say,
so-
I'm not after the art yet.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah, he's still here. After art was crazy.
After art is wild.
I think I was like before, during, after, like it was just like that kind of thing.
Damn, I don't want there to be an after the art though, because that means when I stop doing art, I can't ever stop doing art. After the art would be nuts. What I'm gonna do after that? Making art has been such a pivotal part of my identity since I was like 16 years old, which is a huge age in like development and stuff like that.
I'm going through your page. I'm gonna pull up a pic. I want you to give me some details. Explain it to me. Put me in the scene.
Oh, that John. Oh man, that was a great day. That was a shoot that I did with Tina Backwoods over the summer last year in 2022. That was a great day. Amazing models, amazing looks. It was Zaria, London, Preda, and Just. Everybody showed up. Everybody killed it. We were around the corner from the school district building, and like, yeah, we was just flicking up. Like, it was literally one of those days where it was just like, all right, we found the location. I'm gonna show up with some pieces. The models came out. Everybody put their fits on, and from there, like magic happened. Like everybody just snapped into that mode of like, yo, we're just doing some fly shit today. And it was that was one of my favorite shoots I think I've ever done. It's a good job.
What's your favorite tattoo?
That's a favorite. It's kind of weird because like, I don't know. It's hard to pick one favorite because I like them for different reasons. Like this tattoo, the Flawed World tattoo. Shout out KM Tats. KM Tats does pretty much all of my tattoos now. She's done like half of them at this point. This is probably like my favorite to show off in pictures. Like I love when this shows up in pictures. This 1949 tattoo, this was the year that my grandfather was born and passed away a couple of years ago. And that has probably like the deepest meaning to me. This angel right under the 1949 is actually a separate piece. They just look like they're together. This is my newest tat. This is like the letters FLWD, which stands for flawed, and it has barbed wire in the middle. I like this one a lot. I just think it looks cool. This was the first Flawed Beings tat, and this was just like, okay, once you get your brand tatted, you gotta go crazy. That was the mindset. It was just like, all right, like I'm not about this slack. Like you just gotta make it happen. Just to answer the question, I'll say this one. I'll say this is my favorite one right now until I get another one. The meaning behind Flawed Beings is based upon the realization and acceptance that we're all flawed people, we're all imperfect, we all have insecurities, and we all might have things about ourselves that we might not necessarily like, but that's part of what makes us us, and that's part of what makes us human, aka Flawed Beings. And as far as the look of Flawed Beings, I say that Flawed Beings is loud minimalism. Like, when I look into designing, I try not to do too much. I used to like to do too much before I came up with the brand itself when I was just painting on stuff. But when I actually started making Flawed Beings pieces, the brand itself, it was like, okay, I have to come up with an aesthetic. I have to come up with a certain style of designing. And I called it loud minimalism, where I'm not trying to do too much. I'm not trying to blow up the piece too much, but whatever design on it, it's loud, it's eye-catching. When you see it from across the street, it's going to catch your eye, and it's going to be a conversation piece. I really want my stuff to have that effect on people where it's like, yo, where did you get that? And explain what this is. And a lot of the inspiration comes from maybe things that I experience in everyday life, like any artist would, a lot of biblical inspiration, old movies and stuff like that, like Mr. Hyde from the Mr. Hyde beanie. This was from the 1930s, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, black and white movie. It's a lot of different inspiration thrown in from things in my everyday life that I experience and like. But yeah, that's the overall meaning behind it and purpose. Just, if you think you got something, if you think you're good at something, if you have even the slightest bit of thought that you're good at something and you can make something happen, try it out. Believe in yourself. Put your stuff out there. Don't hold on to it too much. Don't hide what you do. Be proud of what you do. And never stop doing what you want to do. Like, Whether you want to get famous from it or not, just do what you love. Never stop.
It's a rap on Hamez.
It's a rapidy rap.
It's a rapidy rap.
Cat.
He's gonna.
Mixes in the baggity bag with town.